Hello everybody and welcome to a slightly different video today. Over the course of the last few months I have actually received quite a few messages regarding what compact tractors I actually have, or ride-on mowers. And I think really to save all these people having to ask the question, I might as well just make a video so you can just watch the video. It's not a massive fleet, but I thought I'd show you it anyway, so here we go. To kick things off, we have the Massey Ferguson 1220, which is actually an Iseki which has been rebranded to a Massey Ferguson, and obviously Massey Ferguson have had their say and they've changed a few designs and everything. I've had this one the longest out of all the machines, but I still absolutely love it. Mechanically it's still really good because I keep things serviced on it, I keep things all in good condition, and really that is the best thing you can do to a machine. The last thing you want to do is leave it out in the rain and just not service it when it needs to be serviced. So yeah, it's really to me a backup tractor more than anything else, but it does have its own dedicated job every now and then. So yeah, that is the first thing, the Massey Ferguson 1220, about 25 years old or something, but still going very strong today, and cosmetically and mechanically it's in good condition. I've recently changed the front wheels too. Moving on, we have the John Deere X750 ride-on mower. This is not a compact tractor, however, you can kind of convert it into a compact tractor if you would like to. By this I mean you can put a 3-point linkage on it and you can put a rear PTO on it if you would like to. Having said that, I'm not going to because I have compact tractors anyway. So this is a 2017 model. It's obviously incredibly useful. It's got a 48-inch deck on it, but you can go all the way up to a 60-inch deck. The mid-range would be a 54-inch deck, I believe, but I've gone for the 48 just because you can manoeuvre a bit easier with it. And if I need to do anything bigger, I've got the topper on the tractor. So it has front hydraulics if you require them for maybe a front sweeper or something. It has got a mulching deck which you can very quickly change from mulching to side discharge just with a lever. So that is one of the features which I really love about this mower. On a lot of mowers you actually have to fit a mulch plug, but this is less than a second to convert it. So ease of use is at a maximum there. Otherwise it's just a really nice looking mower and a very nice thing to use. Having said that, I haven't used it that much yet, having only recently got it, and with it being the winter. Underneath the seat we have got the dipstick for the transaxle or the gearbox. It has got a Tough Torque gearbox. It's hydrostatic with diff lock, but as you can see you very simply just check the gearbox oil with the dipstick under the seat. So very simple to do all your daily maintenance on it, and yeah, then you can get straight to work. Just the same as most modern lawnmowers, it has a seat sensor or a seat switch, so that when you get off the seat it will either turn the engine off or turn the deck off. It does have a number plate and a number plate holder, but the number plate isn't actually installed just yet. There is a close-up of the gearbox and you can see there is a disc in the middle of it, and that is where the rear PTO would go to. But yeah, I just have not specified to have it because I really don't require it. It's got a hitch, well it's got a toe pin hole, which I'm probably not going to use just because it's a hydrostatic gearbox, and although this one is much heavier duty, I still wouldn't really fancy towing a trailer with it. Certainly with the smaller domestic rider mowers, it doesn't really do them any good to tow trailers. But I would say this one would be actually really good with it, but I'm not going to unless I really have to. So we've got indicators, as you can see here. There's also a brake light. When you put your foot on the brake, the lights come on. This particular model is actually kitted out to be on the road. You can actually get the version where it's not designed to be on the road, so you wouldn't have the number plate holder and you wouldn't have the front lights and all that kind of stuff. You would still have your normal headlights and everything, but none of the other stuff. That is a 12-volt port for charging your phone or flashing beacon or whatever. A toolbox on the side with a mirror, which I'll just move out of the way. Again, part of the road homologation kit. We then have the deck leveler. There is a tool in here which you take out, and then you have to use that tool. You put it through this hole and you can adjust the deck side to side leveling. So very easy to do. Again, John Deere and ease of use. Does seem to be always very obvious on their machinery, which is very nice. We have the hazard warning lights just here, at least that's the switch for it. So you switch them on and off just there. Put the mirror back in, otherwise it's going to get snapped off next time I drive it, which will be in a minute. And then we have things like the seat adjustment lever and the deck height knob just here. Turn it left to go lower, turn it right to go higher. The brake pedal is the one nearest to the camera there at the top. We then have the forward and reverse pedals just here. So very simple. The further you push the pedal forward, the faster it goes. We then have the hydraulic levers. The first one is for the deck up and down. The second one is for an accessory if you have any installed. At the front here you can see there is the cruise control button. We also have the PTO button just here, the brake, parking brake, and you press the cruise control button in to set the cruise control. Moving around to this side you can see we have the close-up of the deck with its model name, the Accel 48 Deep. It's a deep deck. In here we've got the power steering hydraulic ram, double acting, and we also have the cast iron front axle. So it's all very durable. Right, so if we go underneath the bonnet, we can really appreciate the high quality Yanmar engine which is actually fitted to these machines. It also has a lot of very useful sensors, such as the airflow sensor, which will bring up a light on the dashboard if there is an issue, which is very nice for being user friendly. We then have the battery down at the front of the mower, and then in various different places in the engine bay there are all the lubricant fill points for coolant and oils and all that kind of thing, all of which are fairly accessible. Moving on to the switches now, this is obviously where a lot of people are going to enjoy themselves because there's so many different switches to flick. And yes, I have not used the horn before, so that's why it's probably sounding a bit weak. Now, my least favourite button on any machine, the RIO switch. You have to press the dreaded thing in every time you want to reverse with the deck engaged. This is the throttle, obviously. Moving around to the front of the mower, you can see it's kind of menacing, but at the same time it's got these cute eyelids, and well, I can't really get my head around if it's cute or if it's menacing, but forget it, it doesn't matter. You can also see the front lighting for the road kit as well. Now, again, this is a very nice feature. Being able to adjust the steering wheel, you can actually move it up if you want to get off the seat, and you can bring it towards you to have it in a comfortable position when you're operating the machine. Right, let's take it for a spin, if that's even possible on a ride-on mower. We'll soon find out. Great fun. Yep, always loved ride-on mowers and compact tractors and stuff. Anyway, the dashboard, obviously it's very swish. I'll just pause the video when it's looking at the dashboard all lit up. I'll just very briefly explain stuff. Obviously it's fairly self-explanatory overall. But at the top we have the two indicators for left and right. The three lights at the top, the yellow and the two reds. The far left yellow is the caution indicator, which will light up when another warning light has come on. The middle one is the stop indicator, and the far right there is the low oil pressure indicator. Moving down we have the parking brake, the red light. The parking brake warning meaning it's on and you're trying to start the engine, for example. The engine temperature gauge, the RPM gauge, the rear PTO in the middle, mid PTO and front PTO, fuel gauge. To the far right we've got the battery symbol, and it needs to be within the middle. If it's too high it means it's overcharging, if it's too low it's not charging enough. And the bottom line of white lights are firstly the glow plugs, the air intake airflow indicator. You're not on the seat if that one appears. Next one along, service required, and the hour meter. So it's all very self-explanatory, really. But there's a book that comes with it all and everything, so if you didn't know, it doesn't matter. You can also change the screen brightness using these two buttons on the dashboard. And moving on to the final compact tractor, the Massey Ferguson 1525 from 2016 with the MXC2 loader on the front. So it's a bit dusty because it's been doing a bit of work in the field recently. Surprisingly dusty even at this time of year. But yeah, just generally a very nice tractor to operate. And the front loader is just amazingly powerful. In fact, more than what the tractor can handle. You can pick up so much weight. We've got the grapple on the front, which again is just an incredibly useful tool to have. Much better than the standard bucket, but having a standard bucket as well is just as useful. So, at the back, I have kind of considered having a hydraulic top link, but really for the price, it's not really worth it. But yeah, still thinking about it. Going around the side here, the valve block actually is, well, it seems to be leaking. I'm not entirely sure where it's leaking from, but it's making a nice puddle of oil on the ground here. So yeah, that needs to be looked at when I get a bit of time. So yeah, it's been doing it actually since I got it, I think. It's probably just something that needs tightening up. I doubt it'd be anything too serious. At least I hope it won't be anything too serious. But yeah, that was fitted by MX. But overall, they've done a very good job. So, moving around to this side, you can see it's got a totally different dashboard to the John Deere, but it is a bigger machine. Currently, I've got 28.7 hours on the clock. I need to do a 6th month review very soon. I think it's coming in March. But no, overall, very happy with the machine. Really like it, and had some very good experience with it so far. The PTO on here, I think I prefer over the John Deere's PTO, but I'm not really looking for a comparison here because they're two totally different machines. In fact, some things I prefer about this machine, some things I prefer about the John Deere. Down the side here, for example, I prefer the John Deere for the cruise control. It's just much more ergonomically correct, but they both work very well. Also, we've got the range there. Mid PTO, which I can never use because it's got the frame for the front loader, and the rear PTO. So yeah, it's just, yeah, like I say, a nice machine. One thing I don't like actually, or one thing which the John Deere again has done better, is that you can actually tilt the steering wheel forward towards you, whereas on this tractor it's just in a static position. But again, it's just a minor thing. Underneath you can see this is the reason why I can't have a mid deck, and it's because all the loader frame is here, the supports for it. But I don't think I'd want to put a deck on it anyway, even if I didn't have this under there, because I'd like to have a more compact deck, such as the 48 inch, whereas this machine would have a 60 inch deck, which is just a bit too big. Because if I wanted to have something that big, I'd just put it on the back as a topper. But there we go, the 3 machines which I own. This is everything I own now, and it will not be expanding anytime soon. So thank you for watching, hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and until next time, see you again very soon. Bye for now.